Welcome to Lesson 4, Relevant Music Curricular Tasks. In this lesson, let's talk about what it means for the music instruction you're delivering in your classroom to be relevant. Now, if your music students are anything like mine were, then you've probably heard questions like these a few times. Questions like, why are we learning this? What does this have to do with anything? When am I ever going to use this in my life? Now, we, of course, as music teachers, know the great importance of learning music and the benefits. And when your students are asking questions like that, what they're really getting at is they need you to make it explicitly clear why what they're learning matters to them. Now, you'll remember back in lesson 2, we talked about knowing your learners, and that knowing your learners is about understanding their prior knowledge, their interests, and their experiences. It's not about the simple demographic data that you can glean from a school or a school district website. And this is a continuous process. You're never going to stop learning about your learners. When it comes to thinking about the actual instruction itself, knowing your learners is the first step to making sure that you're going to be best positioned to design instruction that has relevance to your students. Now, the next thing you have to think about is the actual objectives and the standards that you're going to teach. Look at your curriculum or even look at the National Core Art Standards and think about an objective or a standard that you would teach. Think about what is the actual real world reason why a person, a musician, or just a regular person living their life, but why would somebody actually interact with this? What is this standard or objective actually saying? Once you understand what is really at the heart of that objective and what the real life reason is, now you can find a bridge between what you know about your learners and how you can make this standard come to life. Let's talk about a couple of quick examples of what I mean by that. The first example I want to talk about is a general music example. It says, with limited guidance, create music for a specific purpose. Now, what is that really getting to? It's asking you as the instructional designer to think about what are real life reasons why people create music. People create music all day, every day for all kinds of different reasons. Lullabies are a quick and easy example that has a specific purpose. Work songs have a specific purpose. Lots of reasons why people create. Now you have a point of inquiry for your students, and also using what you know about your learners that can help you better understand what might be relevant ways for us to explore this. Perhaps you even put it over to your students as a kickoff to a unit or a lesson where you're talking about the many purposes of music and put it to them. What are ways in which you have created music? What are ways in which you've seen other ways that people have created music? Let's look at another example from secondary. So this could be a choir or a band or an orchestra, a performing ensemble class. It could be something like performing music alone or with others. And that performing would look different if you're in a choir classroom or you're singing versus if you're in a band and you're performing on an instrument. But the idea is really the same. What is a real world reason why people perform music alone or with others? And there's lots of ways that you could look at this, but the most obvious way is to be able to communicate ideas. So here again, now we have a point of inquiry. Put it over to your students. What ways have you seen people communicate ideas in groups? That could be a concert, that could be an impromptu drum circle or something like that. There's so many ways and possibilities that this could go. The point is using what you know about your learners and then bringing that standard to life by thinking, what is the real life reason why somebody would do this? And then finding the connection. That's how we make it relevant to your students, because they need to know explicitly why learning about this objective, engaging in this learning. What does it matter for my life? What's going to be in it for me? Make sure you start from that place when you're creating your instructional tasks and instructional plans for your students, instead of the normal way that we as music teachers do, which is we want to teach a song or we want to teach an activity or we have a concert coming up and we start from that place. Always start from what is going to be the relevant reason why my students would want to interact with this and what is going to be their biggest takeaways. Start there. All right, that's it for lesson 4. Here's your reflection for today. I want you to think about a common standard that you teach in your classroom, be it your band classroom, your orchestra, your choir, your kindergarten general music classroom. What is the common standard that you teach? And think about what is the relevant real world reason why somebody would engage in this thing. And if you're really feeling fancy, think of a couple different standards and what the real world connection is. And then drop at least one of those in the comments below this video. and I'll see you next time for Lesson 5. Don't forget to let your music teacher friends know about this series so they can get in on this learning too.